Welcome back, history buffs and digital explorers. Today, we are journeying back in time, not just through books, but through a stunning AI reconstruction. Let's step into this meticulously recreated world and find out. For centuries, this city, originally founded by the Swedes, has been a strategic prize. But just a few decades earlier, in the mid-18th century, the massive sea fortress of Sveaborg, what we now call Suomenlinna, was built. This changed everything. It was meant to be Sweden's Gibraltar of the North, a powerful naval base to counter Russian expansion. But history, as we know, had other plans. By 1809, Finland, including Helsinki, would be ceded to Russia, becoming an autonomous Grand Duchy. Our journey today is set on the very cusp of that monumental shift. As we walk through the digital streets, the first thing you'll notice is the scale. This isn't the grand, neoclassical Helsinki we know today. In 1800, it was a small town, primarily built of wood. Its population was just a few thousand souls. Imagine narrow, unpaved streets, often turning to mud in the rain. The air would be filled with the scent of wood smoke from countless chimneys, the salty tang of the Baltic Sea, and the smell of tar and timber from the shipyards. We see Swedish-speaking merchants and officials, their attire reflecting their status. You'd see burghers in sturdy woolen coats and tricorn hats, overseeing goods being unloaded at the harbour. They would be discussing shipping routes, the price of salt, fur, and timber, the lifeblood of the city's economy. Then, there are the Russian soldiers and officers. Their presence is a constant reminder of the shifting power dynamics. They are stationed here, part of the large garrison at Sveaborg. You can see them drilling in the open squares or patrolling the waterfront. Their uniforms, distinct and imposing, add a splash of imperial green to the muted colours of the town. Their conversations, in Russian, would have mingled with the local Swedish and Finnish dialects, creating a unique linguistic landscape. Let's not forget the ordinary Finnish-speaking folk. They were the farmers bringing produce to the market, the fishermen mending their nets by the shore, and the craftsmen in their workshops. We can see a blacksmith, his face smudged with soot, hammering glowing iron at his forge. The rhythmic clang of his hammer is a sound that would have echoed through these streets daily. Their clothes are simple, practical, made of homespun wool and linen. Their lives were tied to the seasons and the sea, a story of resilience and hard work. The heart of the town was the market square, near the harbour. Here, everything converged. Picture it, stalls overflowing with fish, root vegetables, rye bread, and perhaps some imported goods from Tallinn or Stockholm. Men would gather here not just to trade, but to exchange news and gossip. News from the wider world travelled slowly, arriving on ships, and would be eagerly discussed. What's the latest from the Napoleonic Wars? What are the Tsar's plans for Finland? These were the questions on everyone's minds. Let's turn our attention to the architecture. The buildings are almost all wooden, 1 or 2 stories high, and painted in traditional colours like Fallon red. Stone buildings were a rarity, reserved for the most important structures, like the old church or parts of the fortress. These wooden houses were vulnerable to fire, and devastating fires were a recurring theme in Helsinki's history. In fact, a great fire in 1808 would destroy much of what we are seeing now, paving the way for the city's grand rebuilding as the new capital of the Grand Duchy of Finland. Now, let's venture to the waterfront. The harbour was the city's lifeline. Look at the ships, a mix of small fishing boats and larger merchant vessels, their masts like a dense forest against the sky. Sailors from across the Baltic would be seen here, loading and unloading cargo. The harbour was a place of constant activity, a gateway to the outside world, bringing in not just goods, but new people and ideas. And looming over it all is the mighty sea fortress of Sveaborg. A city in itself, it housed a massive military and civilian population. From our vantage point in town, we can see its formidable stone walls and bastions. For a young man in Helsinki in 1800, the fortress represented both opportunity and authority. It offered work, but it was also a symbol of imperial power, a constant reminder of the military strategic importance of their small town. The construction of this fortress had been a massive undertaking, drawing workers and resources from all over, fundamentally shaping Helsinki's development. Life here was governed by the harsh northern climate. The winters were long, dark, and cold. The sea would freeze over, isolating the town for months. Imagine the quiet that would descend, the world blanketed in snow, the only sounds being the crunch of boots and the howl of the wind. Survival depended on careful planning, stockpiling food, firewood, and fodder for the animals. Social life would move indoors, centered around the warmth of the hearth. As we look at these AI-generated scenes, it's incredible to think about the details. The technology allows us to visualize the textures of the wooden walls, the cobblestones underfoot, and the way the low northern sun would have cast long shadows across the square. It's a powerful tool for bringing history to life, moving it from abstract dates and facts into a tangible, relatable experience. This digital reconstruction of Helsinki in 1800 shows us a city on the brink of profound transformation. It was a rugged, multicultural outpost, a place where Swedish heritage, Finnish culture, and Russian imperial ambition collided. It was a community of merchants, soldiers, and craftsmen, all carving out a life on the shores of the Baltic. The grand avenues and stately buildings were yet to come. What an incredible journey back in time. Seeing this lost world recreated with such detail really gives you a new appreciation for the city Helsinki has become. What aspects of this historical reconstruction surprised you the most? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me on this exploration of 1800s Helsinki. If you enjoyed this trip through history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the past, brought to life with cutting-edge technology. We'll see you in the next one.